what are some of the biggest milestones in your life, biggest transitions, and how do they make you feel when you go through those transitions? So we're going to talk about the wild dental Nacho world of practice transitions, but before we get to that, let's go back to our life transitions. So what's one of our big transitions? One that I think of is graduating from high school. So it makes you feel excited. You get to leave your parents' house, but nervous because you don't have any money. People are like, you're an adult. I'm like, I'm an adult with no money. It's a pretty useless adult. Yeah. Then you go to college, and you're like, I'm ready to go to college. I don't need to leave my parents' house. I remember August is like the popular time. It was 1995 for me. I went shopping with my parents. Mom's like, you need a dust ruffle for your college bed. Like, I cannot show up, Mom, with a dust ruffle to college. That's making a statement. That statement is not, I'm a super chill guy here to have fun. So I'm very concerned about dust. Someone help me put my bed skirt on. So I'm going to take that risk. So you're at college. I mean, what they ask you to do to go to college, you can only do because you want to leave your parents' house. I went to Villanova. They sent us a message midsummer. They're like, we accepted too many people, right? Like, they didn't have control over that whole entire operation. You're going to have to live in a room with 2 grown adult men and you. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I get to leave my parents' house. But I wound up sleeping on the top bunk, so that was good. I did not get the dust ruffle, because that would have been really bad. So you're in college, you graduate from there, but that makes you feel excited you're done, but also anxious. You have to get a real job for most people, but we went to dental school, so we're like, we'll delay that for a few years. Your friends had to go out and get a real job. Then you get to dental school that first day. Everyone kind of remembers the first day. I remember the first person I saw at dental school when we got out of our car, no cell phones. I'm like, that guy looks like he's going to dental school. I'm going to follow him. And you go in as like, this bright-eyed person, like I'm here to learn about teeth. Dental school's like, we're going to make you cry. So, it's a very different experience. But you get through that. You graduate from dental school. I mean, that is like one of the greatest, best days because, you get your diploma on stage in some big ceremony. And you want to be like, I did it, dental school. I won. You do not have control over me anymore. But then, like, you gave us $400,000. There's going to be a lot of control for the next 30 years. You got to pay back these loans. So these transitions, you think about it, they make you feel excited, but also a little weird, right? Like, if you get nachos, you're just fully excited. No one also feels weird about getting nachos. It's an interesting experience when you go through these things. Then you have some personal life transitions, like getting married. That's a great day. It's also very serious. Like, we're talking about managing expectations, and I just don't think they manage your expectations for what marriage really is. Like, everyone's laughing because they're married. It's like, when you're doing it, they use these words like, love, happiness, being there for each other. It's like not a full informed consent, right? It should be like, it's way more serious than that. It's like marriage is basically, it is a legal obligation to hang out with the same person for the rest of your life. They put it to you that way, I think people take it more seriously. Like, I'd like to stop hanging out with this person. You're going to need to get a judge involved in that. So that's a serious thing. But all of those things put together, for me, I listed some of them here, all of those things put together, not compared to the biggest game changer of all for me, the biggest transition, and that is having another human being. So this is August 1st, 2014. We're bringing Daphne home from the hospital in her car seat there. So you go into the hospital, it's 2 people, and you leave with a whole extra person. And as you're leaving, you're like, I feel like there should be more rules to this process. I mean, I just came with 2 people, I got an extra person, like, should I be taking a test, like doing jumping jacks, Sudoku, something? But they're like, no, just take them home, take your baby home. And we put more training into baristas at Starbucks than to parents, and that's pretty insane, and sometimes you see that out there in society. But there is a rule in Philadelphia, I don't know if you can tell from this picture. It's a rule that makes no sense at all. You have to bring the child home in a car seat. You do not have to have a car. So you bring this up, and look at the child, it's like newborn baby frog. Your wife, that is a lot of effort they have done. Mary deserves like nachos for a long time for having a child. So like Paul, you got to strap your baby frog into this car seat, which is very difficult, into the room. That's the last thing the nurse says, just like, get on out of here. So people are just walking down Broad Street with their child, back to their house. A rule makes no sense. It's like a rule from dental school. It's no sense. Like, we got these rules here. How come they make no sense? These are just the rules we've had for 50 years. So I think that, when you go through these transitions and people don't help you with these big life decisions in a meaningful way, and big dentist decisions, you can just have problems, just like we heard yesterday from Rob Montgomery and Jamie Amos. And what I would like to create is just some more space about these transitions and what we're doing, because purchasing a dental practice, where you're going to dentist and anchor yourself for a long time. I mean, this is my brother Jeff and I at the sign at our dad's office. This is us. I was 8 and 3. See, like, that face looks like I'm kind of bossing them around there, and I'm like, didn't change much 30 years later. But you go through these transitions. But we had a dad who was a dentist, so we didn't have to dig into all of these things in the same way. But we have purchased multiple practices since there. So if you're thinking, hey, I am done purchasing practices, I've heard people say, hey, I am done having kids, and then I see them again, and there are more kids. So at some point they think it is a good decision to have another child, and we have a satellite practice. Now we're co-parents of this practice here, and we have a satellite practice in Ewing, New Jersey, so you may purchase another practice. And sometimes you have a child, and like, next time I do this, I'm going to do things differently because I made some errors. I learned from it. So we did the same thing with our practice transitions. But people tell me a lot of times, or ask, like, what's it like to own a practice? Is it like having a child? And I would say, yes, it is, but it's not like having an infant, because infants are actually very easy. They're very small. They sleep a lot. You could just pick them up. Like, you can drink a margarita with one hand and hold your infant in the other hand. And that is a true story from Elvez. Some people are like, why do you have a baby at the bar? I'm like, why don't you have a baby at the bar? Don't you love your child? I want to bring her out wherever we go. But see, she's sleeping. But what is it like to have a dental practice? And it's not like having an infant. It's like having Daphne a year ago. It's like having a 3-year-old child for 30 years that never grows up.